my lovelies, it is time for another round of Have I Read It? So stay tuned. Hi, hello, welcome. If you are new here, Have I Read It is one of my multiple TBR games that I use to help pick my TBR for the upcoming month, or have you help me pick my TBR for the next month. So the way this goes is I react to a haul that I've done over 3 years ago, and I tell you if I've read the books, if I haven't read the books, if I've unhauled the books, and out of all of the books that I haven't read that I still own, you get to vote on which book or books I should read in my next TBR. So if I have 10 or less that I haven't read and still own, then I have to pick the #1 voted book. If I have 11 to 20, I have to pick the top 2 voted books, and so on and so on. Okay, are we ready for this? I'm not at all. So in this one, I'm going to be reacting to my Book Expo and Book Con middle grade book haul. This is one that I've posted in 2019, so it's like almost 4 years ago. Yeah, so I'm nervous because in the last Have I Read It that I did, I got to a section where I had a bunch of Al Craig Jr. books, and I had read like almost none of them. And these are a whole bunch of middle grade books, so I'm worried that I haven't read any of them. All right, let's get started. Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have my BEA and Book Con middle grade book haul for you, so stay tuned. So my haul from BEA and BookCon was so massive, I've had to split it into multiple videos. So I've got my comic books and graphic novels in one video. I have this one, which is my middle grade. And then I'm also going to do probably 2, maybe even 3 videos for my YA and adult books. Because you see this stack here? There are 32 YA and adult books in this stack, and there's another stack just like it on the other side, so those will probably be split into 2 videos at least. For this video I have 20 middle grade books to show you, so let's get started. First up we have The Dragon Warrior by Katie Zhao. I'm pretty sure I still have that one. I'm gonna check, but I'm pretty sure I do. And I have not read it. Okay, so I'm grabbing a random book off my stack here for a placeholder. This one says, as a member of the Jade Society, 12-year-old Farron Liu dreams of honoring her family and the gods by becoming a warrior. But the society has shunned Farron and her brother Alex ever since their father disappeared years ago, forcing them to train in secret. Then, during an errand into San Francisco, Farron stumbles into a battle with a demon and helps defeat it. She just might be the fabled Heaven Breaker, a powerful warrior meant to work for the almighty deity, the Jade Emperor, by commanding an army of dragons to defeat the demons. That is, if she can prove her worth and find the island of the immortals before the Lunar New Year. With Alex and other unlikely allies at her side, Farron sets off on a daring quest across Chinatowns. But becoming the Heaven Breaker will require more sacrifices than she first realized. What will Farron be willing to give up to claim her destiny? Inspired by Chinese mythology, this richly woven contemporary middle grade fantasy, full of humor, magic, and heart, will appeal to readers who love Roshani Chokshi and Sanyanti Dasgupta. Okay, so we're starting off with one I haven't read. So if you want me to read this, vote The Dragon Warrior. Next up, I got Bouncing Back by Scott Ostler. Okay, I think I unhauled this one. Yes, I did unhaul this. Okay, next up we have a new series by Chris Colfer. This is A Tale of Magic. I have not read A Tale of Magic. Hold on. I do know that I still have that one though. Okay, so grabbing a book as a placeholder. This one says, a new series set in the Land of Stories universe. I feel like if this is set in that universe, I wouldn't want to read this one until I've read all of those. And I've only read the first book in the Land of Stories and loved it. I think I gave it 5 stars. It was so good. I do own the second book in the Land of Stories. So I think what I'm going to do, instead of reading the one that I showed in this haul, because like I said, I would want to read the Land of Stories first. I'm going to select the second book in the Land of Stories series for you to vote for. That one's called The Enchantress Returns. But let me tell you about the first book, which is called The Wishing Spell. This one says, Alex and Connor Bailey's world is about to change in this fast-paced adventure that uniquely combines our modern-day world with the enchanting realm of classic fairy tales. The Land of Stories tells the tale of twins Alex and Connor. Through the mysterious powers of a cherished book of stories, they leave their world behind and find themselves in a foreign land full of wonder and magic, where they come face to face with the fairy tale characters they grew up reading about. But after a series of encounters with witches, wolves, goblins, and trolls alike, getting back home is going to be harder than they thought. In that first book, they're going about trying to collect the ingredients for the wishing spell so that they can wish themselves back home. And it was so good. I loved it. So if you want me to read this, you could just vote The Land of Stories. All right, next up. So this next book actually should have been in my graphic novel haul, but it got mixed in somehow. That is Sanity and Tallulah Field Trip by Molly Brooks. I have read that, yay. All right, next. Okay, next up is Halo Battleborn Meridian Divide by Cassandra Ross Clark. That one I unhauled. Next. Okay, next up we have Some Places More Than Others by Renee Watson. Okay, I have not read that one, but I have to check and see if I still have it. Okay, it looks like I do, so let me grab random book for a placeholder. All right, this one says, Newbery Honor author Renee Watson explores a family's relationships and Harlem, its history, culture, arts, and people. All Amara wants is to visit her father's family in Harlem. Her wish comes true when her dad decides to bring her along on a business trip. She can't wait to finally meet her extended family and stay in the brownstone where her dad grew up. Plus, she wants to visit every landmark from the Apollo to Langston Hughes' home. But her family, and even the city, is not quite what Amara thought. Her dad doesn't speak to her grandpa, and the crowded streets can be suffocating as well as inspiring. But as she learns more and more about Harlem and her father's history, Amara realizes how, in some ways, more than others, she can connect with this other home and family. This is a powerful story about family, the places that make us who we are, and how we find ways to connect to our history across time and distance. So if you want me to read this, vote Some Places More Than Others. All right, let me get back to the video. All right, next up. This next book is kind of funny considering there is a cat all over me right now. But I actually saw this one from like far away and I had to go over to it because I was just like, what is this book? And that is Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs? Big Questions from Tiny Mortals About Death by Caitlin Daughtry, or Dottie. I have read that book. Absolutely loved it. Highly recommend it. It is a bit morbid, but it's awesome, and I gave it 5 stars. All right, next up. Okay, next we have Remarkables by Margaret Peterson Haddix. I have not read that one, but let me look and see if I still have it. Okay, it looks like I do, so another random book placeholder here. All right, this one says, New York Times bestselling author Margaret Peterson Haddix, the master of cliffhangers, delivers a pulse-pounding mystery perfect for fans of Jacqueline West and Cat U, full of secrets, surprises, and the power of family. One minute they're laughing and having fun at the house next door. The next minute the teens are gone, like magic. Marion can't believe her eyes. Who are they? Can anyone else see them? What makes them so happy? Marin is lonely in this new town of hers and eager to figure out more. Then she meets Charlie, who reveals that he knows about them too. He calls them the Remarkables. Charlie warns her to stay away from the Remarkables and him. Charlie and Marin both have painful secrets they're holding on to, but could solving the mystery of the Remarkables help them both? In addition to building an intriguing world filled with mystery, Haddix also grounds the story with real issues that many children face. Characters deal with complexities of bullying, the guilt children experience when parents have addiction issues, and the uplifting power found in strong families of all shapes and sizes. Okay, so if you want me to read this, vote Remarkables. All right, next up. Okay, next up is another one of the Rick Riordan Presents books, and this is Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky by Kamwe Mbalia. I have not read Tristan Strong. Let me see if I still have it. Okay, I think I have that one, so let me get another placeholder here. This one says, seventh grader Tristan Strong feels anything but strong ever since he failed to save his best friend when they were in a bus accident together. All he has left of Eddie is the journal his friend wrote stories in. Tristan is dreading the month he's going to spend on his grandparents' farm in Alabama, where he's being sent to heal from the tragedy. But on his first night there, a sticky creature shows up in his bedroom and steals Eddie's journal. Tristan chases after it. Is that a doll? And a tug of war ensues between them underneath a bottle tree. In a last attempt to wrestle the journal out of the creature's hands, Tristan punches the tree, accidentally ripping open a chasm into the Middle Pass, a volatile place with a burning sea, haunted bone ships, and iron monsters that are hunting the inhabitants of this world. Tristan finds himself in the middle of a battle that has left Black American gods John Henry and Brer Rabbit exhausted. In order to get back home, Tristan and these new allies will need to entice the god Anasai, the Weaver, to come out of hiding and seal the hole in the sky. But bartering with the trickster Anasai always comes at a price. Can Tristan save the world before he loses more of the things he loves? Okay, so if you want me to read this, you can just vote Tristan Strong. All right, let me get back to the video here. We are not even halfway, and I already have 5 books. Great. All right, next up. Next up is another Rick Riordan Presents, and that is Race to the Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I have not read that one either. I'm pretty sure I still have it. Yes, so another placeholder. This one says, lately, 7th grader Nizoni Begay has been able to detect monsters, like that man in the fancy suit who was in the bleachers at her basketball game. Turns out he's Mr. Charles, her dad's new boss at the oil and gas company, and he's alarmingly interested in Nizoni and her brother Mac, their Navajo heritage, and the legend of the hero twins. Nizoni knows he's a threat, but her father won't believe her. When Dad disappears the next day, leaving behind a message that says, "Run," the siblings and Nizoni's best friend, Davery, are thrust into a rescue mission that can only be accomplished with the help of dying holy people, all disguised as quirky characters. Their aid will come at a price. The kids must pass a series of trials in which it seems like nature itself is out to kill them. If Nizoni, Mac, and Davery can reach the House of the Sun, they'll be outfitted with what they need to defeat the ancient monsters Mr. Charles has unleashed. But it will take more than weapons for Nizoni to become the hero she was destined to be. Alright, so if you want me to read that, vote Race to the Sun. Alright, next up. Sorry if there was an angle change, but my battery died. Okay, next up we have The Light in the Lake by Sarah R. Boffman. Okay, I have not read that one, but I have to check and see if I still own it. Okay, it looks like I still do, so another placeholder. This one says, a remarkable debut novel that takes readers on a journey of discovery, magic, science, and hope. 12-year-old Addie should stay away from Maple Lake. After all, her twin brother, Amos drowned there only a few months ago. But its crisp, clear water runs in Addie's veins, and the notebook Amos left behind, filled with clues about a mysterious creature that lives in the lake's inky blue depths, keeps calling her back. So despite her parents' fears, Addie accepts a young scientist position studying the lake for the summer, promising she'll stick to her job of measuring water pollution levels under adult supervision. Still, Addie can't resist the secrets of Maple Lake. She enlists the lead researcher's son, Ty, to help her investigate Amos's clues. As they collect evidence, they also learn that Maple Lake is in trouble, and the source of the pollution might be close to home. Addie finds herself caught between the science she has always prized and the magic that brings her closer to her brother, and the choice she makes will change everything. So if you want me to read this, vote The Light in the Lake. All right, next up. Okay, next up we have Elizabeth Webster and the Court of Uncommon Pleas by William Lashner. I have read that one. I think that's the first book in the Elizabeth Webster series. But yes, I have read it. Next. Next up is Goosebumps Slappy World, The Dummy Meets the Mummy by R.L. Stine. Okay, I have unhauled Slappy World. All right, next up. I also got I Survived the Battle of D-Day in 1944 by Lauren Harshis. I have also unhauled that I Survived book. Next. Okay, next up is Martin McLean, Middle School Queen by Alyssa Zagzik. I'm pretty sure I still have that one, and I haven't read it. Okay, so let me grab another placeholder. This one says, in this big-hearted middle grade debut, Martin McLean struggles to find his voice and his inner diva as he navigates friendship, family, first crushes, and a whole lot of glitter. 7th grader Martin McLean has always been surrounded by people who can express themselves. His mother is an artist, his colorful Tayo Billy works in theater, and his best friends Carmen and Pickle are outgoing and don't care what other people think. But Martin can only find the right words when he is answering a problem at a mathletes competition, until his Tio introduces him to the world of drag. In a swirl of sequins and stilettos, Martin creates his fabulous drag queen alter ego, Lottie Leon. As Lottie, he is braver than he has ever been, but as Martin, he doesn't have the guts to tell anyone outside of his family about her. Not Carmen and Pickle, not his mathlete teammates, and definitely not Chris, an 8th grader who gives Martin butterflies. When Martin discovers that his first ever drag show is the same night as the most important mathletes tournament, he realizes that he can only pull off both appearances by revealing his true self to his friends and channeling his inner drag superstar. And I think it's going to be an awesome book. But yes, if you want me to read this, vote Martin McLean, Middle School Queen. All right, next up. Okay, next up we have Child of the Dream, a memoir of 1963 by Sharon Robinson. I have not read that one. I think I still have it, but let me check. No, I guess I must have unhauled that one. So let me get back to the video. All right, next up. Next up is Kid Activists. True Tales of Childhood from Champions of Change. Stories by Robin Stevenson. Illustrations by Allison Steinfeld. We have Martin Luther King Jr., Harvey Milk, Malala Yousafzai, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, Helen Keller, Nelson Mandela, Emma Watson, Frederick Douglass. I feel like I still have that one, but I haven't read it, so let me double check. Yes, I do still have that one. I think that's on my shelves in my dining room. This one says, moving, relatable, and totally true childhood biographies of Martin Luther King Jr., Susan B. Anthony, Helen Keller, Malala Yousafzai, and 12 other inspiring activists. Every activist started out as a kid, and in some cases they were kids when their activism began. But even the world's greatest champions of civil liberties had relatable interests and problems, often in the middle of extraordinary circumstances. Martin Luther King Jr. loved fashion and argued with his dad about whether or not dancing was a sin. Harvey Milk had a passion for listening to opera music in different languages. Dolores Huerta was once wrongly accused of plagiarizing in school. Kid activists tell these childhood stories and more through kid-friendly text and full-color cartoon illustrations on nearly every page. The diverse and inclusive group encompasses Susan B. Anthony, James Baldwin, Ruby Bridges, Frederick Douglass, Alexander Hamilton, Dolores Huerta, Helen Keller, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, Iqbal Masai, Harvey Milk, Janet Mock, Rosa Parks, Autumn Peltier, Emma Watson, and Malala Yousafzai. And I forgot to grab one for the placeholder, so here we go. All right, let's get back to the video. How many do we have so far? If I remember to put something over here every time, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, we're getting close. Also, my battery's flashing, so let me change that out. Oh, and I'll be right back. Okay, sorry if the angle changed. All right, next up. Okay, next up is Max Einstein, Rebels with a Cause by James Patterson and Chris Grabenstein. I have unhauled this one. Next. Okay, next up is The Beast, a dark, deep novel by Ali Condi and Brendan Reich. I do still have that one and I have not read it, but I feel like that's a sequel. Hold on. Okay, yes, that is book 2 in the Dark Deep series. Book 1 is called The Dark Deep, and I do own that. So let me grab a placeholder, which puts us at 10 now. As long as I've been counting this right. You'll know by my little tally marks on the screen if I've gotten it right or not. But this says, or The Dark Deep says, when a bullying incident sends 12-year-old Nico Holland over the edge of a cliff into the icy waters of Still Cove, where no one ever goes, friends Tyler and Ella and even cool kid Opal rush to his rescue, only to discover an island hidden in the swirling mist below. Shrouded by dense trees and murky tides, the island appears uninhabited, although the kids can't quite shake the feeling that something about it is off. Their suspicions grow when they stumble upon an abandoned houseboat with an array of curiosities inside. Odd-looking weapons, unnerving portraits, maps of places they've never heard of, and a glass jar containing something completely unidentifiable. As the group delves deeper into the unknown, their discoveries and their lives begin to intertwine in weird and creepy ways. Something ancient has awakened, and it knows their wishes and dreams, and their darkest, most terrible secrets. Do they have what it takes to face the shadowy things that lurk within their own hearts? So if you want me to read this, vote The Dark Deep. All right, let me get back to my video. We're getting close to the end. So I might only have to pick the #1 voted book unless I miscalculated, in which time when I do my editing, I'll know that I need to do 2. But for now, just 1. All right, next up. Okay, last but certainly not least is The Trials of Apollo by Rick Riordan. This is book 1, The Hidden Oracle. I've read it. I was so worried when I was like, this is the last one. I was like, okay, either it leaves me with just 10 or it puts me over the edge, and I haven't read that one. Unless I've already miscalculated somewhere. I've only had 10 that I didn't read. Which is funny because I remember at the beginning of the video that I was just reacting to that I said I had 20 books to haul, which means half of them I haven't read and the other half I've either read or unhauled. Okay, so that's it. You have lots to choose from and vote for as many as you like. I will pick, like I said, the #1, maybe #2 if I miscalculated, books that you vote for. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye.